You are so hyper. Today's video is sponsored by Loving Pets. Click thumbs up for Max the Fluffy Corgi, subscribe to my channel, and pick up a copy of my book if you want the fastest path to training your dog. I wonder if you rub him against the carpet if he'll generate electricity. Stop being fluffy. Max is really going through a major puppy biting stage right now. You can't have the ball forever. So that's all it takes to get you to stop biting. Just give you a belly rub, huh? Oh, no, spoke too soon, I guess. Today we're going to explore if, why, and how you should use treats when teaching your dog. So have you ever heard or thought that using treats to teach your dog is nothing more than bribing them? Or that if you start using treats with them, that you'll always have to use treats to get them to listen to you? See, dogs don't intuitively understand that they need to pay attention to you for sustained periods of time so that you can teach them things. There's a couple of ways to get your dog to listen to you. The more traditional way, for example, is to force them to, very often through the use of things like choke prong and electric collars. That comes with side effects though, like compromising the bond between you and your dog, and that training just isn't as enjoyable as it could be. Your long-term goal isn't to teach your dog how to sit and stay because they dread the consequence if they don't. Your long-term goal is to show them how to be fluent in your language and lifestyle, regardless of where you are, what you're doing, or what's going on around them. You know that I strongly recommend having an awesome currency to effectively teach your dog. I mean, good treats combined with a fun, optimistic attitude are likely to ignite progress. Today I'm using these. These are brand new. They're Foundations training treats, and they've got to be the most convenient treats that you can find. I haven't even opened them yet. Why are you you can't eat them in the bag, dude? Why don't you puppies understand that? Look how easy they open, and they seal closed. I want to have the best currency possible, so let's see which one Max prefers. We got chicken, beef, lamb, duck, and salmon. So that's how that went. Max seems to like all the flavors pretty equally, so I think I'll use the salmon treats. A good training treat should always be really soft too. That's because you want to be able to reward them frequently sometimes, and you don't want to wait on them to crunch them up and lose momentum on your training session. Every pack comes with this carabiner so that you can easily attach them. You just open it and attach it, and you can literally train your dog all day. These are grain, wheat, gluten, and corn-free, and they're made in the USA. If you have a puppy especially, finding tiny reasons to reward them throughout the day is key. But if you don't have the easiest possible access to treats, then you're definitely going to miss opportunities. You can get these Foundations training treats from PetFlow and other major retailers, and I'm gonna have a special link and a discount code in the description that'll give you 10% off your order. So let's go over how we get our dog to pay attention to a treat, to listening to us in order to get a treat, to eventually listening to us without a treat at all. Let's just say your dog is brand new to training. Your first order of business is just to get your dog looking in your direction at first. So I've got a treat right here, and we'll see if we can do that with Max. Look at this. Wherever that treat goes, he's kind of paying attention to it. And just to make sure that he knows I'm fair, I'm gonna reward him. Hey, over here, see this? Some critics might say that, hey, the dog's just paying attention to the treat, not you. In these early stages of training, that's true, that's absolutely correct. This is a way to just get them focusing in your general direction. Think about an infant, for example. You might rattle some keys or use a baby toy just to get them focusing on your general area. And when you have your dog's attention, even if they're focused on a treat, that buys you time to get their attention off of the treat and onto you. The treats are just a catalyst for igniting that communication. What are you doing? So we're gonna do just a quick leave it session. It's exactly what I'm trying to teach you how not to do right there. I'm gonna teach him that leaving it alone is what gets him the treat. Yes, good boy. Yes, good. All right, so his leave it looks fantastic. So now I'm gonna try and get the attention off of the treat and onto my face. Hey Max, leave it alone. Yes, good. That was a really good moment right there because he stopped looking at the treat, looked to me for direction, and that's what we eventually want to do. That's the first glimmer of progress. This is probably one of the most potent, magical exercises you can do with your dog, especially if they're new to training. Look at me. Up, no, not the camera. Look at me. Yes. Good. Yes! Right there, I didn't even have to ask him to look at me just then. So after we get a dog motivated to follow a treat, and eat a treat, and enjoy the treat, our next step is to teach them to earn the treat. That's not earning the treat though. And I'd hypothesize that right now, there's probably lots of good brain chemicals going through his bloodstream, and he's probably feeling pretty good right now. This will likely get Max eagerly paying attention to me, number one, voluntarily, and number two, for sustained periods of time. And when training is fun, you should notice a dramatic change in your dog's attention span. So let's cover the third step. Once you have your dog's attention on you, Max, up here. Now you're in a position to teach them stuff. Max, we're gonna learn how to lie down. I'll lure you into a down. Good. Hey, look at me. Nice work. I'm just continually asking for Max's attention just to get him in the habit of routinely looking to me for direction. I've got him in a mid rollover. Let me see if I can get him looking into my eyes. Hey, Max, look at me. Look at me, look at that. Mid rollover, I'm getting his attention. You have to get your dog's attention in easy circumstances, like in your living room, when there aren't barking dogs, when you're not out in public, before you can really expect them to listen to you in more distracting situations. And there are gonna be times where your dog looks to you naturally without you even asking them to do so. It's really important to go out of your way to acknowledge that you appreciate that your dog is looking at you in those circumstances as well. And when you have treats on you all the time, it becomes a lot easier. The idea is that your dog doesn't anticipate when you're going to ask him or her to look at you. The more you can get your dog looking at you voluntarily and spontaneously, the better. At first, your dog learns, I do this, I get a treat. And in fact, your dog comes to expect a treat. And again, that's fine at this stage of training. This period needs to go on longer than most realize, say 6 to 12 months. Why? Because they don't really have context yet. There are no shortcuts to showing your dog how to behave in specific situations, and it definitely takes time to establish context. True dog training comes down to showing your dog how to behave in so many different situations and places over time. It really is a marathon, and having good treats with you to keep your dog enthused about that marathon really goes a long way. Step 4 is phasing out treats over time. See, as your dog becomes more and more reliable and behaves as you want for treats, then you start giving them less treats. This doesn't happen at one time though, but through intermittent rewarding. In short, you go from rewarding your dog frequently to less frequently while randomly adjusting the rate at which you reward during any given training session. So I made him do all of those things right there for one treat. And that's how you start slowly phasing out treats over time. Now remember, when you change environments or things get really exciting, you have to go back to being extra generous with your treats at first because you have all these variable changes and it's different and harder for them. So what about times when your dog won't take treats? For example, maybe they're really distracted or really excited. Don't take this to mean that your dog lacks motivation to work for treats. This almost always means you just put them in a situation where they don't know how to behave just yet, and the excitement's just too much for them. This is normal. In these cases, work in less intense scenarios where your dog will take treats and gradually build up to more distracting training over time. Be methodical and consistent, and of course, provide significant exercise before your dog is likely to be in these positions. Now, food isn't the only currency that you have to use when teaching your dog. Why are you biting me? You can also reward your dog with really intense play for a few seconds at a time, or often you can even use their environment to provide an amazing outcome to desired behavior. If he wants to bite something, that's okay. He just doesn't know what's off limits and what's okay to bite, so we gotta teach him that. That's the thing with puppies, you just gotta teach them everything. Get your Loving Pets Foundations treats at PetFlow and other major retailers. I'll have a link and a discount code in the description. Click thumbs up for Max the Corgi. He did a great job today. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you for supporting us on Patreon too, and buy my book. We'll see you guys in the next video. Good job, buddy. Did you know corgis were the most ancient herding dog? And we believe that corgis were descended from husky-like dogs. You don't look anything like a husky. Stop evolving. You're getting too fluffy.